Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. We have Ivan back, and I am living and swimming in that Jaguar energy, as you can see.
Yeah, so that. Mhm.
And we're really just in this moment calling in the highest frequencies from Tikal specifically, which is a sacred site in northern Guatemala. It's Mayan lands. It's also lands of jaguars mystery as well. Like most of
Mhm.
what we know about Tikal is still under the jungle.
Mhm.
And I would love to explore the channel of the Leonine or the big cats or the Lyran stream.
Okay. Yeah, the Lyran stream. It's a little bit easier to connect to, but it branches out to all of that. So, okay. All right. Sounds good.
Beautiful.
All right. So, blessings.
Thank you.
Grease you with the Lyrans. Send your energies. Blessings. Yeah, this is a calm moment. There is still a lot of, yes, uncertainty. That's not yet to be uncovered yet, but we can assist you with your questions.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for coming and meeting us in
Yes.
this way. Um, Ivan and I have had some private sessions where I've dove into this energy over probably the last 4 years in different forms, but I specifically want to open it up to a wider audience that
Hmm.
wants to understand how Lyran, big cat energy is helping us right now, both individually for our purpose and also collectively as humanity.
Well, part of it is for protection. You see, the Lyran has a guard, but also awareness. So it has, Lyrans are kind of like spiritual or like warriors too. It's built into their DNA with their claws. So they're ready for battle, you can say. But of course, the tail and the fur is a energy of comfort, you can say, to relax their frequencies also. Of course, to handle weather at the same time. But yeah, basically built with a coat, basically. And it's also about feeling the environment that's around, and it helps with the senses. Of course, as a human, yeah, if you had more fur, you could probably feel more in tuned, you can say, but of course that was taken away. Well, you have hair, but it's not the same. I mean, there is some hair follicle energies that can connect to you and just give you your power, just protect the chakras or the crown chakras and things like that. But there's a lot of but what is hidden in those areas that you're speaking of is uh, for for now for the best. It is kept that way for a reason. At least for now.
Keeping us in the mystery still.
Well, some of you can connect to it, but once the secret's out, there's no way of concealing it, and it's best just to wait for the world to be ready for it again, you can say.
Okay. I have this intuition that specifically more women need to be going to Tikal specifically. Something really powerful happened to me when I went there last year, and it was a long time coming. I think it had been 10 years that I had this intuition to go to this part of Guatemala. It's very obscure, it's hard to get there. I remember it on National Geographic, covers and stories in my childhood. And it
Mhm.
just seemed like something out of a movie, like out of Indiana Jones. I didn't actually know that I would physically go there in this life, but that call, and it was a
Yes.
jaguar call. It was specifically like a big cat energy that was saying, "Come meet us here." So what is it about women? Like what can the feminine do for this land or this grid specifically?
But I see that's more, that was more, that call out, as you can see, is more for yourself. You can say there's a ship there, and yeah, your fleet or squadron or however word you use it is there. So there's different places in the world that where people can be pulled towards. And that would just, yes, a slight activation. It doesn't mean you have to continue to go back there, but it is of course, people here have different connections, not just to the felines, to the canines, and all type of beings. So, but with your connection there, yeah, it was needed at the time to get you to where you, to heal old wounds, has to do with your connection with the earth. It does go back to Atlantean times also, just, you made it this far. And think of like incarnation is like a journey, right? It's kind of like climbing a mountain, but it's through incarnations. So you've made your voyage. So think of it as your voyage is complete, at least in that aspect of it. You completed a part of your agreement coming here.
Hmm.
Of course, I'm not going to go into all the details, of course.
Yeah, yeah, that's okay. I love that piece because sometimes we forget we're so in our own story that we forget that maybe it's not applicable to everybody or not in the same way necessarily. But what I like to see about the challenges that I give myself is that it does inspire other people. There's always somebody watching. There's always somebody that can see the bravery in your act that just might get them a little bit more lit up with their own
Mhm.
fire, their own, yeah, to attune to their own, let's say their own ships or their own fleets of
Mhm.
guides, of assistants on the planet, on the grid. And there's so many places that are hidden or that are just obscure, and people don't realize sometimes it's in their backyard and they're not attuned, or it is pretty buried underneath, a city, or buried underneath whatever we've created here by 2025. And a lot of my work is about excavating, not just for myself, but maybe let's say I travel to a grid and I want people to then have more access to that grid later on. So I feel like I do the first layer like an archaeologist, just
Mhm.
digging a little bit. And then I leave because maybe my connection isn't so strong there, but somebody else will now get to continue that dig and it's meaningful for them.
Well, it's just that the people that you connect to sometimes you're a little bit more ahead of than they are on that scale. You said that California woods, there is some places for activations, of course, where people are led to. Yes, it can be in your backyard, but many are not going to see it. I mean, it might be close to, it might not be exactly your backyard, but can be close to it, but many are not ready for that to be revealed. But yes, you are there to lead those to always give some encouragement when they eat out. I'm not sure about that kind of type of connection. So
Mm.
there's just this much that, yeah, many here are just not ready to unravel just yet, as you could probably see that.
I'd like to see if you have any advice about crystals specifically. like
Hmm.
the crystals that come out of Guatemala or Mayan lands, for me, even before I was really sure of what I was doing, I was traveling a lot. I had been to some powerful places. I basically came back to Mayan lands through Egypt and the Holy Land, little bit of Crete. So all these really, for me, really powerful points on the planet, and then got to Guatemala and I fell apart the first time I went there. But the crystals that I bought in that first week that I was there, I started carrying them everywhere. Quartz that came, jade, these things. And for me, crystals have been a guiding light. For me, they have been a source of strength and a source of awakening. What can you tell people that maybe they have crystals, maybe they're curious about them, they just don't know what to do, how to work with them
Well,
in
they're
their
part of
path?
they're part of the grounding process. As you activate it, it helps balance you. As you're connecting, they just work with your chakras. And you can just sit it around. You don't necessarily have to do anything with it unless you feel like you need to talk to it. You're at that pass. Not everybody needs to do that. The crystals on your sometimes they don't even want to talk to you. Just have us hang around. You don't have to say anything. But if you feel drawn to talk to it, you feel like your crystal's talking to you, that's fine. But if not, don't feel bad. It's all right. As long as you're still working together. But you're drawn to certain crystals that you need. Yes, for your arsenal, you can say what you're here to do.
Mm.
So it's just kind of like there to cleanse your soul, your energy field, for you to do what you're here to do.
Did the Lyran specifically work with jade?
Different, that's one of them. That's more well known. There's many obscure crystals out there that are not that well known. But jade does have, it's easier, just accessing it is easy.
Right.
So it's just like, once again, it's what you're drawn to.
Okay. I'm feeling to bring in a little bit of Egypt energy. I've been
Hmm.
swimming in the Egyptian grids the past couple days, and I've always known that there's a really deep connection between the Egyptians and the Mayans. Maybe it is from Atlantean times, but
Hmm.
what links can you help people make or connections? Let's say they're more drawn to Egypt than they are to Central America.
Well, Egypt's more well known. Central America is, not well known for many reasons. There's a lot of, yeah, a lot of violence happened there at one time, as you can imagine. In Egypt also, we say it was worse in the Central America area. So, South American frequencies, memories that are not necessarily need to be remembered, especially around the Chile area. Of course, you don't hear about Chile half the time for reasons, due to the earthquake fault lines and all of that. So a lot of beings can be pulled into that fault line and have the portal closed on them.
Mm.
Or they're concealed there. They're not allowed into your realm. A little bit of a kind of goes back to your childhood cartoons and things like that. But it does happen. It has happened. But Egypt has more of your modern history. Central America is more of your ancient. Which you think Egypt would be ancient too, and technically it is, but it's also more part of your modern day because Central America is very alien. So Egypt is, yeah, healing the felines, you can say transformed into human form slowly. They figured this is the vehicle that's more accepted here. The feline being, it's not. Even the canines did the same thing. Become more human and live among the people. So during Egypt, the more the history is there, you could say, technically. Not exactly.
Can you
So,
tell us anything about? I don't want to get into the violence specifically, but
yeah.
people that have really strong DNA from the Americas. So I'm talking about from north to the tip of South America. I feel like our bloodlines from these continents are really coming online right now. It's
Hmm.
in the serpent year this year that we're recording
Mm.
this, so
Yeah.
I feel specifically that, again, that call, but also I just feel like it's affecting a lot more people than me. But if people haven't been on the path, it might be overwhelming for them. They might not really understand it, but I believe it does come specifically from the bloodlines. It's almost like there's different epochs where certain groups really do get activated by a specific bloodline that might be connected specifically to like a galactic nation or
Yes, there's in that area is a lot of genetic engineering in the past. And there's a lot of the reptilian. You see hear about Anunnaki. It's not just Anunnaki that was here, even you say Martian energy was for here too, basically kind of perfecting the modern human. That was like one of the areas for it. And so you're gonna feel some of the reptilian that the reptilian, all of these species here were all important towards human evolution for it all to be concealed. And like I say, see South America has a lot of strange figures there. You imagine those in the physical. Some of those have been remembered and seen as gods because they weren't seen that much anymore. So yeah, they remains as gods, but they were kind of gives you an idea how many there was a lot of them here in the past at one time of some of your ancient folklores in that area. So it's just brutality due to humans forgetting themselves. So they had to kind of be re-engineered to exist here. Because humans have lost their higher dimensional selves, so your genetics had to be altered to handle this environment. That was one of the areas for it.
okay.
Alterations, you could say. So connecting
I'm
information.
I'm interested in balancing out like all of that because I have felt all of those energies there.
Hmm.
As soon as you said Mars, like I really felt that one
Yes,
specifically today.
it
But
keeps itself hidden, but it's here, yes.
can you balance it a little and tell us a little bit about, well, what other, I guess, help assistance have we had in the Americas to balance that out? Because we are getting closer, I believe. And I believe that's a lot of the work that I'm doing. We are getting
Yes,
closer to that very pendulum swing
yes,
from, I guess, Martian bloodshed,
yeah.
dominance, extraction to more of that queen energy, to more of that
Hmm.
divine feminine energy. That
Hmm.
is just another word for that for me. It does not man or woman, but it's like remembering nature, remembering what this planet can do for us, how it is our home.
Yes. Well, yeah, you're in a state of remembrance, as you can see, and helping others, but also I feel like you're also being concealed, meaning hidden for reasons, because you're connecting to sacred knowledge and you only want to attract the right people and not the wrong ones, and you want to stay safe and things like that, which you don't have a problem with that. So it's sometimes less attention is the better. But yeah, the Martians say they brought in too much here, too much of themselves, and had to fix it. They brought their problems here, like all other beings, and you can say they weren't really trying to do that, but even the decent ones would come here, but then they'd bring, some thugs would come following with, say, oh, what's this place? And so you can say it was good intentions in the beginning, but then, yeah, kind of the questionable beings made themselves home and lowered a lot of the frequencies here just by being here.
Mhm.
I'll give you an example like more higher frequency Martian beings would come here as like, you know, warm, connections and gift giving, even that in the past, a long time ago. But then it has to attract more of the questionable reptilian beings that were had all kinds of, just like what you see here. Just like what you see in those areas, actually. As for gang warfare, it's very similar. It's more, it was a reptilian, a little bit more adult, meaning they're a little bit more, they're not as, they can handle it. Of course, they're reptilian beings. They can handle a lot more of their strangeness or their wildness. They can, like a crocodile, it can be, a huge force, but still very calm and cool, but then switch off into some, almost like a military. Like, military kind of reserves all their crazy, you can say. But when they need it, they can unleash it the right way. And of course, your thugs here now can't do that. They're just crazy all the time because they haven't learned how to conceal it better or to handle it better. That's why you have all these gangs and stuff like that. They just can't. They don't understand themselves. We're all crazy and we can't figure it out.
Mm.
So,
But then
well, lost
again,
children.
yeah, I mean, I'm glad you just said that, lost children, because the
Yes.
mother frequency, that is
Yeah.
kind of the frequency that has been extracted and,
Yeah.
almost like converted even to be more masculine. A lot of South America, Central America, even in the Americas, like mothers have
Yeah.
to also be fathers, or mothers have to do so much more than they used to, where they could just be that feminine, that presence,
Yes.
that home frequency for everyone. Now they're kind of forced to be in this machine world,
Mm.
and we are being raised as these we're being raised into big babies, not adults. We're being raised from children to like fake adults. We don't even have the skill sets. We don't have the heart, the compassion, because maybe the mother wasn't there to truly show us the way. But that's why I always go to the planet herself. I
Yes.
want more
Yes,
people
that's
to
just good.
understand, how do they go to the planet as the mother?
Well, the mother of the past or mothers were taken out due to their, yes, quiet nature and the radicals, like the energies of the jungle, is not exactly this, the rattlesnake beings. They just did not want to be overruled by anybody. They took out any responsibility. So that's why, yeah, more of the child, yeah, it's hard to be an adult or try to be because a lot of that was destroyed in the past. Because, yeah, and the mothers cannot always protect themselves fully towards, as more of the rascal, the Neanderthal humans, I guess you could say, that were weaponized, groups to just attack anything that was reasonable. So that's another reason why you have the world you have today. It was done by design to keep everyone, yes, crazy, childlike.
Mhm.
A mother, it's hard to be a mother. Well, as you can see, it's so difficult. Even those that are trying to be responsible. Yeah. Well, there was never that many before in the past yet, anyway. So, yeah.
Okay. I would like to thank you so much. I would like to see if we can bring in the Syrian mothers, the Syrian stream, the more of that feminine Syrian energy to channel for us.
Yes, we can do that. Okay. Yes. Blessings. Yes. Greece, you, yeah, the Syrians. Oh, yes, the motherly frequency. Um, well, your past, some of the mothers were not exactly motherly. Some Atlantean mothers were. corrupted. And that's another reason why they're taken out because they were motherly, but not in the best intentions. And the good ones had to flee and hide, actually. So, yes, you're accessing that now. Just, yeah, be careful what you bring into your freak energy field, which you are cautious, which is good. Yeah, only takes one bad apple, as they say on your world. Because you could develop an enemy just by being yourself, like you have good intentions, and those that can be easily programmed come in just to, cause mischief, the lost beings, once again. Mhm.
Do you have yeah, do you have any advice, any motherly Syrian advice from that pure Syrian stream that I have experienced? I have experienced in the waters, I've experienced in some of the most beautiful places in the world when I'm just alone with the
Mm,
waters.
mm,
Um, Anything you want to share from that stream? Because I feel like we need to be bathed. We need to be bathed in the belief that that
mm.
motherly energy is not only accessible to us, we can call out for it, but that it's also within us and it's all around us on this water planet that we get to inhabit.
The water is kind of like the fur of the world, you can say. You can just lay in it and feel it's a watery astral energy. Does have, the same elements as physical fur, you can say. It's similar, it's not exactly, but it does have a lot of healing. When you're around water, yes, you can sometimes see more, your third eye opens up more, depending on where you are, a lake, or that's why sometimes the waters are not always the safest due to that, because they realize how sacred they are. And you hear people swim with dolphins. You don't necessarily have to. You just connect to different water. Everyone has some kind of access to it, or you can even connect to the trees for that matter. So you access the same type of energy. Of course, you can't swim with a tree, but technically, I guess you could. But yeah, you find your space, and that is similar to like connecting to the water, actually. You sort of just It can be on land because it can't always be, not everyone has access to safe, lakes and streams and things like that. You're not always want to just go away in the water somewhere. Not everyone's. So you can just find a place in nature somewhere. It can be in your home also. You can actually attract it. So give you some understanding of that. But yes, it does connect you to the motherland. Also, the motherland, yes, is a node to protect herself due to, especially in a world like this, that is, yes, blind to its intentions, lost, as you said.
Right now, there are some beautiful Syrian alignments with our sun. And throughout my studies
Mm,
and also just my remembrance, I really see Sirius as a spiritual sun. It's like
mm,
um it's like a beacon. It's like it's the brightest star in our night sky, but as a frequency, as a place also of memory, as a place that many of us have come through Sirius before
mm,
we've been incarnated as humans. I want people to understand how can they pull more of the ones that have that access, the ones that can claim it now. A lot of it's coming through the crown energy, specifically even this connection to that queen, that jaguar queen energy. I want people to understand, or king, behind me are the image
yes.
of the jaguar king temple and
Mm,
the jaguar
mm,
queen temple.
mm,
So I want
mm.
people to understand what can they do with their crown chakra? How can they let more of those memories in?
Well, first off, it's just connect to the star system that reaches out to you. None of this have to be, it can be the Pleiades, Sirius, it can be anywhere. It can be Sagittarius, Orion, it can be a planet, it can be Jupiter. Also, to give you some, it could be one of these obscure planets. Just look at some of these star maps and like they have these kind of robotic names because they don't know what to name them or give you a dormant planet. It's really what, and you can name it yourself too if you feel like there's a connection. It's another way of truly opening yourself up. That's going outside of. I mean, Sirius is part of the Earth's DNA, you can say, and what you're connected to is part of the Lyran, you can say, founding mothers of even Atlantis, early non-physical Atlantean frequencies. That's before human, at least the physical human evolution. Of course, there was humans around during that time, but yeah, you're just connecting more to your origins with the Earth, you could say. And not everyone's ready to see that far back, but you find the star system that works for you, or planets, or sun, or whatever it might be that's talking to you.
Beautiful.
You'd be surprised how many are connected to reptilian, as you can imagine. The feline's a popular one, but also the reptilian. There are reptilians that are, reasonable, that are similar to the felines, or, not psychotic. You know, if you imagine that, all different types of mother beings from different, even the butterfly.
Mm.
The butterfly bring a lot of surprises there. It's not one that you turned
Is
off.
there like a whole butterfly planet or like
Hmm.
butterfly beings? I saw this on Star Trek. There's like these
Oh
butterfly
yes,
being humans that are.
everything you can imagine. There's all these different type of insect worlds that don't necessarily have a huge evolution, but they do exist. And you see how your world is. Yeah, yeah. Some of them are here as tourists, you can say. They park themselves here and they don't know how to get back home, so they just sort of this is their home now, so they have their families here and things like that. It's almost like camping out. Yeah, they can find this world through a portal and all of a sudden have a new species of, insect. Of course, you don't see that much of their, elephant species. Every once in a while, they might find a new species here that appears out of nowhere.
Mm. I
Was
don't know.
pulled here.
I don't know why, but I'm getting this mantis energy.
Yes.
I was looking at a beautiful image of a video of a kind of pink and green mantis. And I've always been fascinated by the fact that they remind me of like ancient Chinese Qigong masters, the way they move.
Yes.
And I've heard some of my mentors have spoken very highly of like worlds of mantis beings.
Hmm. They're part of the human evolution of contributing to the psychic abilities, and yes, to move matter. Some of them would rather just be a mantis being, but they contributed some of their, or those that have incarnated here about the memories here and created certain modalities here, you can say, through the mantis energy. And I believe some of them have no idea they are a mantis, which makes it even more. It is like, I came here as a human, I'm just going to remember myself as a human. Sometimes that helps you access it more. If they say it's coming from a mantis, it's like that might put them off because you don't see any mantis beings anywhere. I mean, unless you see it in you'd be surprised how many incarnate as a human and have their mantis being incarnate as a human and to bring all these things here.
Mm,
Because they're mantis in other realms, like yes, like an actor in a play, basically. This
mhm,
is the role they're playing here.
mm.
It's like any other being.
An actor. I'm
It's kind of
acting
like
on
that.
Earth. I act like human.
Yeah, it's just, yes. Yeah, you can take that. There's a lot of gorilla beings too. A lot of them are in Israel.
What kind of beings?
Gorilla.
Gorilla.
It gives you kind of what Yahoo, whatever his name is. Yes, that's a gorilla being for sure. An Orion gorilla being. And yeah, it justifies all his gorilla-ness. Yeah, they can be pretty ruthless
Okay.
and justify all of it. Give you some
I
context of that.
I've been getting lately this really strong, I think it's a message from my dad specifically. Like he's on the other side now, and he keeps having me dream or helping me dream in analogies with baseball, like the game of baseball. And it's like a very American thing. I get it. Not the whole world cares about that, but it was always a thread in my family growing up. We all
Yeah.
played baseball. And the more I've been sitting with why I've been dreaming all these different dreams about baseball, the more I've been, I guess, kind of freeing myself from taking this life so serious the way I have the last 37 years of my life.
Hmm.
Because it's a game, the game
Hmm.
of baseball, right?
Hmm.
It's almost like he's trying to show me not only play, but have fun while you're doing it because it doesn't really matter who wins the game of baseball. Like you're playing because you love the game. And I
Hmm.
feel like some people, I don't know, I feel like some people need to hear that this life, one incarnation of so
Yes.
many that you're gonna get to live. Maybe
Hmm. Hmm.
human, non-human. I mean, maybe you go to the mantis world, you go back, maybe. I mean,
Yes.
what can you I just anything to add to that because I had to bring it up.
Well, the baseball for him, for your dad, just easier for him to comprehend. Yeah, excitement. He gets a joy out of it. So he puts everything's baseball to him. Could be, yes, how you have kids. Somehow baseball related to that somehow. He's just obsessed with it. Boy, he's definitely, yeah, he's not gonna let that go for a long time. It's every time I see him. So don't feel like you're seeing things. If you see him in baseball, yes, it's multiple lifetimes as a feline being, mantis being, and so on. Let's put that out there. Yeah, you talk about connecting to your joy, but it's also, yeah, how you play how you play the game. Yeah, it's like yes, have fun with it, but like fun with responsibility. People have fun is like there's no responsibility. But it's gonna be responsible fun. It doesn't have to be boring. But it's kind of like, yeah, win for yourself, but doesn't mean you have to win the game, but you win, through your challenges, you can say. You're doing it for you and it's your own internal happiness. It's okay to want to, like a comedian wants to make others laugh. It's okay if you feel like you want to, like you're doing your spiritual group energy, similar to like how a comedian would want to help others. It's very similar in that. So there's nothing wrong with that. So it's good to do things. And you're doing it for yourself also. Like a comedian would make themselves laugh at the same time. They think it's funny. So like what you're doing, you feel like it's helping you. It's medicine to help others. But not everyone has to have that path.
Mhm.
It's just really yes, living your best life or the best in your circumstances, in your situation. You know, you're just surviving because some are. Yeah, as you know, climbing a rock, a mountain, it keeps falling apart as they're climbing, but they're still hanging in there, maybe by not much. But yeah, that has to do with others around you might be giving in, weakening, but you're still hanging in there. Even a rock formation can fall apart like people. Like they can't handle it, they fall apart, but you keep going no matter what.
Well, I always have this in the back of my mind that there's always another mountain. And a lot of
Right.
people that focus so much on like I'm gonna climb to the peak of this mountain, it's like there's another higher mountain, like there's another mountain period, there's also
Yes.
coming down from the mountain. So for me, I will always keep going. Whatever is
Yeah.
going on, I
Well,
will continue to remind myself that whatever I get to do in this life is a gift.
mhm.
I like to say that the hardest times, they really do make the alchemist. They really do help you. Like this work that I'm doing is very centered around alchemy. It's very centered around take all the ingredients that you have, all the things that make you up, all the life experiences, throw them in a pot and watch how that changes. You know, the bad experiences mixed with the best experience of your life can be the most delicious alchemical drink. You know, for me, cacao, that's what it's all about right now. That
Yes,
might
it's
change in the future, but that's where I'm at right now.
well, it's also like in a jungle, you're grabbing one branch after the other, like you're traveling, you're like Tarzan.
Swinging, yeah.
Yeah, swinging through life, you can say. It's another way of looking at it.
Mm.
So it's like similar to the mountain, yeah, because you're climbing, yes, that mountain can change its color, its form, and everything. So, but yeah, so just follow your intuition base. Yeah, you just because the world changes and jobs change and things like that. Career changes, or yeah, you just have to learn to adapt to it.
Can you give some advice specifically to people that live in really dense city grids, cities specifically, like big capital cities or
Hmm.
places where they feel like an outsider? They feel like there aren't many people like them. They might not even have community in person, which is why they seek community online like this. Any words of encouragement or strength for them?
Well, most don't connect to even if most, yeah, majority don't have a community. Yeah, and well, they have to stay strong. Well, it's yeah, they connect to themselves. Yeah, I mean, as much as it's nice to connect with others, they don't always realize the good things that are around them. Of course, you can also feel very hollow at the same time. But yeah, there's a sense of well, it's just the energy of this. It's not you. It's this world. It's just many of just back themselves. Society has locked itself away from any loving energy to have like a false version of it. So yeah, I feel like you're in a jungle basically. A world that forgot what love really is. It really doesn't know what it is more manufactured here. There is real love, but many have to go through this manufactured version first. Mm. And
Would
there's a
that
lot
be
of that.
like equivalent to like false light experiences?
Yes. Oh, there's plenty of that. Yeah. So it's easier to connect to a false light because a false light will give you anything you want to, whatever you ask of it. At least spiritually, imagination wise, it give you more falsehoods. And of course, it feels good.
Mm.
Oh, look, I'm the smartest being on this planet. I'm the only one that can do this, and so on, and whatever it does there. Yeah. But
I'm the
eventually,
reincarnation of Cleopatra. I'm the reincarnation of this. I'm the reincarnation of
well, in some
whoever.
ways, there might be uh, in some cases, there are some fractal connections there, in some reality, possibly. But yes, it can get very confusing with that, yes. Or you're a spirit guide of them, or you're just in that time period, or whatever it might be. So,
I think the key there is like when you do have so much false light around,
oh yes.
you really have to sharpen the discernment. You do have to fall down sometimes. You do have
Oh,
to be in battle sometimes to remove these people from your life if you've been close with them. I'm just speaking from my own
hmm.
example, like my own life. I have met many adversaries already. Like earlier in the recording, I think you touched upon, or the Lyrans touched upon, the enemies, like how it's important to protect your energy, but how it's also important to recognize you don't necessarily need to reach the masses. Sometimes that puts you in a
Yes.
more vulnerable position than
Right.
if you just emanate your light to the right spaces and people and places, and just know that that ripples. It ripples out in this planet. Like, plant it into the earth. Plant your seeds, your energy, your joy, your excitement, your curiosity, all of that into the earth, and watch those seeds grow into trees like like in the Amazon, like in the jungles of Guatemala. And don't underestimate how important that is for future generations.
Well, yeah, the false light is important for soul growth. Eventually, you'll be kicked out of it at some point. But yeah, it can go for years. Um, and some do hold on to it for dear life because they want to believe it, whatever that light is. They just don't want to let it go. And because reality is, it's what it is, and they don't want to see it. It's like you're kind of keeping, yeah, the blinds closed to when you have false blinds, they give you false images of the world and things like that. So, yeah.
Mhm.
There's a comfort zone there, that's for sure.
Mm.
But yes, breaking free of that, but also connecting more to your individual power. Not many are ready to connect to their inner power. So busy giving it away, or they feel have a false inner power, but they're scared of everybody, where they feel like they're better than everyone and still hiding from everyone and so on. You can go on and on with that. So, yes, sir. Well, you are here, those of you are assisting and raising the planet, helping it, as parent energies, man, woman, mother, father, are help raising society as you feel that, yeah. And a lot of times it's better to be seen in secret, meaning that you don't exactly have that label, but you're doing it anyway, as you're doing now.
Thank you so much. I have one last quick request from the frequency of cacao. If you could channel like a closing message from cacao.
From Cacao.
The tree, the seed, the plant, the drink. Yeah.
All right, one more blessings.
Thank you.
Peace. This is the energy from Cacao. Just know you are part, yes, of all things, but not to lose your individuality, but to discover it. Many are having trouble discovering who they are. They think they know who they are, but they don't know anything. You can be 70, 80, 100 and still not know. Yes, you have this false version of yourself, which is fine. You'd be surprised how many are going through life that feel like, yes, they have all the checks and balances in life, job, relationships, and all this, and still have no clue over there. But they put on the role that they do, and they telling themselves they do, and they go through life knowing nothing. So you're giving, yeah, and what you're bringing is, yes, I get what's sugar, spoonful of sugar, but it also dissipates, it grows, it's knowledge, seeds of knowledge that are, it might look like sugar, but it's also planting energy, it's more than just that. So, but sometimes you need a lure, there's something to get them to, sometimes you have to do something that gets them to take their own medicine, as you know, put some honey in or something like that. Even adult use, yeah, yeah. Well, that's why of yeah, fiction, superheroes, and all of that. Yeah, it's like gods or higher dimensional beings in these forms, these wrappings just to talk to people. In these funny costumes and things like that.
Are you helping specifically? Is cacao specifically helping people remember who they are?
I just connect with nature and just for them to relax and to not To settle their nerves, to help them settle their nerves, not to take things too seriously. Relax with the frequencies with them.
Which is not
Easier
my
said,
experience though, because
easier said.
I connect more to the dragon energies when I drink cacao, but for some, you are a very soothing, a very motherly, a very natural, like breath of fresh air for people.
Yeah, it's there to be controversial, you can say. It's different for everybody. Well, there's different ways it can be made, you can say. Yours is more spicy, you can say. It also did inflame your dragon, as you said, your inner dragon. Yes.
I like my cacao spicy, yes. I
Yes.
like my life spicy too.
Yes.
Thank you so much for this beautiful channeling, this beautiful connection. I
Of course.
feel our listeners are people that are connecting, they're really going to get activated by this
Yes.
and just, again, come more home to themselves.
Yes. Very nice. Yes. So your energies. Blessings. Blessings. Great. Okay.
Hi,
All right.
Ivan.
All
Thank
right.
you so
Nice.
much.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Something different.
Yeah, something different for everyone.
Yeah. Nice.
And some many threads, as always, with you. We travel far when we
Yeah.
connect.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm happy to share this with other. Yeah, I can share this when you have it already. So
Great.
happy to. So okay.
Thank
All
you.
right, yeah, good seeing you. All right, I better get
Yeah.
going too. So okay,
Bye.
take care.